as a white Westerner, it's probably not like this at all anymore, but there was kind of this maybe perception among some people that I was a very sexual human being, right? And so they would assume that, and so I would I was exposed to things, that
Feel for you.
like, why is this person showing me his, or whatever it may be. And so it was much safer to be with someone to, not have to deal with situations
You
like
got
that.
the old school. Nowadays, you'd call it a dick pic. You got the old school one where it was the real. Just there's my.
Mm-hmm. Or like, I don't know if you want to go into this or not, but there's a lot of examples of stuff
Give
like
us.
that.
You can give us one, and if we need to, we'll just.
You can edit it out.
Edit it out.
Okay, yeah. So for instance, I remember I was traveling on a train and I was on the top bunk. They would have these bunks that fold down so you could sit during the day and
Okay.
lift up. I'm on the top bunk, and between me and the next bunk on the other side is like this metal. It's not a wall because it has like a hole.
Void. Yeah. Like railings, maybe.
Yeah.
Railings.
And I woke up and there was a guy in the bunk next to me looking at me, and he was
doing he was self-pleasuring,
right.
pleasuring himself.
Yeah. And so that's an example, right? And I would talk to other women who they'd be on the beach, and then all of a sudden this guy next
You know how I know I've got work to do? When you shared that story, the first thing I thought was, well, what were you wearing up there?
Whoa.
I know that's wrong. Hey, I'm sharing that. I'm sharing that. That's my work to do. Because it doesn't matter what you were wearing.
Right.
But I think some things could be more stimulating than others.
Right. But to answer your question, like fully clothed.
Fully clothed.
And probably a blanket on top.
A blanket on top.
Right.
So I'm going with that guy's, that's an inappropriate response to a sleeping lady. But I think there's no way a lady could sleep.
Okay.
That would make that appropriate.
Right. Okay.
But I just want to preface it that.
Yeah.
But I would say some levels of, I'm walking a tightrope here. Can I just backpedal myself out of this one?
You're good.
Get right out of here.
Yeah.
There's some levels of dress and thing that would make it more challenging
not
to stay in your pure. If you looked over and lady had like a, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, I know. I gave you an out and you just kept going.
I'm sorry.
I was like, okay.
Sometimes I need like a real billboard. Exit here. Exit here. Yeah, give me that. Anyway, so yeah, you had some weird experiences.
Yeah, and so
did you just go back to sleep? You're like, I'm just gonna go back.
No, I yelled at him.
Oh, you yelled at him.
Yeah.
Was he
not appropriate? Stop. Something like that. I don't know. I would get grabbed, like, and the thing is like sometimes it was so ridiculous sometimes. Like I remember I was walking one time and a guy came by, like scooters or mopeds or whatever they're called, common vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And so they go by constantly nonstop as you're walking, and someone came by and went to grab my chest, but they're on a vehicle going like 20 something miles. So it's like
that's gonna hurt.
Knocked me back, right? Or they come up behind and grab my butt. Like it was, it was I wouldn't say it was an everyday thing, but it happened a lot.
Enough.
A lot. Yeah.
I mean, one time would be enough, but you're saying a lot with the head nod, which meant it was like
a lot.
A lot.
Goodness. And so
how did that impact your view of the world and of mankind?
I don't know. I saw it through a lens of I mean, in some ways, like sex is different, culture from culture to culture.
Yep.
Right. And then when you see, like, I remember going to this like this Buddhist monastery, and I went into one of the restaurants and the monks were back making the food, and I look up and there was a poster of Britney Spears. I was like, well, this is weird,
Weird. Yeah.
And I realized like there were other people, not just monks, like living in this community, right? And so maybe the owner, I don't know, really loves Britney Spears. I have no idea. But the way that she was dressed, like you would not dress like that.
Right.
Right. And so she was very sexualized. And so if that's what you see, of Western white women,
Ah,
then you
they had
may
been primed, like you said. Whenever you get something in your idea, then you see it, and that's all you think about is that
right.
thing.
Yeah. And so I don't know, I think it's complicated, and that's how I viewed it. I was like, this is
Were you
complicated, and
practicing celibacy?
at one point I was. I don't remember if it was the whole time. The first time I was there, yes. The second time,
Maybe you had some travel romance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
But you
So
definitely weren't wanting those type of courting scenarios.
no.
The
'Cause
drive-by scooter
no,
situation.
none of it. I didn't want any of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want
Yeah.
any of it either
Yeah.
for you or anybody.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ugh.
So that's why sometimes I would gravitate towards like, okay, I'm gonna travel to North India. Let's make some friends and go together.